Good morning, everybody. Sorry about the delay. Just had to get some toast into me. Had a bit of a late start this morning. It is a very cozy Monday here. Welcome to a Monday live crochet along. It's the first live crochet along for December 2023. I've got my hot cup of coffee with eggnog and some fun stuff on the desk. I would like to welcome you all. Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. InStitches is in the house with me too, and I'm sure if you've been in the chat, you've seen him there. Goodness me. And we'd like to start by thanking Nico for gifting a membership. Thank you so much, Nico. We really appreciate it. Welcome. Okay. Woo! Hope you all had a really nice weekend. We did too. I'm just looking out the window at a bunch of snow falling. So I am definitely getting into the super cozy festive spirit today. We polled the family members yesterday because we decided that we would try to make some fun little Christmas card or greeting card tuck-ins. So these are the little things. They're like a little miniature gift that you can tuck into a card that are really thin and flat and lightweight, and they will travel in the mail without needing extra packaging or anything. So we selected 3 of our classic simple applique patterns for the purpose of sizing down into a tuck-in. And we're going to be using crochet thread. I've got 3 different kinds of crochet thread here today. You can also use sock weight yarn. I've got some sock weight yarn. This is that size 1 fingering weight sock weight. You can use that. You could also use embroidery floss if you've got that. And of course, if you don't want to make these to tuck into a card, you can also just tuck them into a gift or use them as a present topper. But today I thought we would experiment with the super fine weight yarns and the crochet threads. I've also got some beads with me just in case I get into the feeling like I might want to do a little decorating. Not sure about that yet, but thought I would have it on the table just to be close, or just to be sure. We polled the family. We said, okay, snowflake, granny Christmas tree shape, or a granny star shape. Now, we just did a live stream where we were experimenting with our snowflake applique, making it really big, making it really small. And but we thought we would see, because I've made these using crochet thread before and I just love them, and I thought maybe we would do one of those today if anybody was interested. Interestingly, the snowflake won. So we're going to start with the snowflake, but we're also, because these are very short, going to do the other 2 as well. So this is the traditional granny star shape. I just love this. These whip up really, really quick, but they also look extremely beautiful and delicate when you size them right down. So that's the granny star. We're going to make one of those today too. And for those of you who were here a couple weeks ago when we made our Christmas gift bag, that's the granny tree shape, also very simple, based on a triangle, and it looks really super cute all sized down as well. So I've got 3 different crochet threads to use today. I've got this is a size 3 or a size 5 weight, so it's a little thicker. I'm going to make my snowflake out of that. And I've got a size, this is a 10, and I think this is a 10 too. These are both relatively the same. So go ahead and use whatever sock weight or crochet thread you might want to work with. But these are in the nice colors I've got. I'm thinking obviously granny tree for this and granny star for that. And if my eyeballs hold out, I will be using those. If not, I've got my trusty sock weight yarn here as well. This is, I think this is called Red Heart Twinkle. I've had it in my stash for a long time. It's a size 1 fingering weight yarn. It's got a little bit of wool in it, but it's got this nice little sort of sparkly twinkle running through it. So I thought that might be nice as well. But the idea is to make this so small and so light that it fits in a card. So that's why I've got my crochet thread out. I've got a pair of scissors. I've got my needle case because I've got my smaller darning hooks to order to weave in my crochet tails today because the thread is pretty small. And I've got 2 different hook sizes. I've got a B hook, which is 2 or a 2.25 millimeter, so very, very small. And I've got one of my steel hooks. I busted out one of my steel hooks. This is the 1.75 millimeter. My set comes with little caps on them because you're getting into almost weapon territory at this point. They're like little ice picks. They're so small. So I've got 2. I'm going to try to do everything with my super small hook, the 1.75 millimeter today. We'll see how that goes. And I've also got some little little bottles full of beads here in the off chance that I feel like decorating my Christmas tree. Not sure if we'll get to that. But if you are going to decorate a little tree or something for a card tuck-in, remember you want the tiniest beads possible. These are very, very small because you want low, you don't want much relief. You don't want like the card to compress on something with big beads that then punches little holes in the card. So you want really tiny little beads, preferably, what are these things called? Sequins. Little flat sequins might be the best option. So I've got some of these. I have more sequins, but do you think I could find them this morning? No. So I've got some of those too, if we get to it. So that's what's on the table today. I'll just push all this to the side. It is cozy. I've got my cottage shawl wrapped around my shoulders because I am trying to keep extra warm today. And let's start with our snowflake. So this is the snowflake original pattern. We've got a free written pattern for the snowflake on the website on our pattern workshop page. I know most of you probably know that by now, but I'm going to mention it again just in case some of you might be new here. Free written pattern for that along with a tutorial. We have tutorials for all three of the shapes that we're going to be doing today. The snowflake, the star, and the Christmas tree. All those tutorials are linked in the description box down below. So if you want to recap for later, they're all right there for you. And our Christmas star, or I should say our little granny star and our granny Christmas tree patterns are also available in our Etsy shop. They're today's sneaky sale. So if you pop over there, especially if you're looking at our new 2024 calendar, you'll see all three of those up top in the shop. Okay, let's get into the crochet. I've got, I kept my measuring tape handy just in case I want to measure my snowflake. And I think maybe I will see what size we're starting with, and then we'll see just how much it sizes down. So I'm going to put my little, let's keep this here. I'm going to switch to 1.75 for this. Oh look, I've already got a knot here. Let me get my glasses on. There we go. Now I can see. Why have I got a knot here?
Couple of quick shout outs.
Great place to start.
While Jayda gets ready, a big thank you to Lori, who sent us a membership milestone.
Thank you, Lori.
Lori says, good morning, everyone. Glad to be here. Lori's been a Merino member for 40 months.
Thank you, Lori.
And Nico gifted a membership.
Thank you, Nico.
That was earlier before we started. I'm not sure who won, but congratulations. Somebody won.
All right.
Hold on. Here it is. Crochet Crazy won.
Oh, Crochet Crazy. Fantastic. Congratulations. I'm going, because this is a size 3 or a size 5 crochet thread, I'm actually going to use my bee hook because it's just a little bit bigger. This was made using a size 2 weight crochet yarn, and it's 2.5 inches across. So I'm going to see if I can get smaller than that. So here we go. I'm going to give myself some slack on my crochet thread. You really only need a couple yards, or maybe 3 or 4 yards per snowflake, because they don't take up very much at all. I'm going to leave my stuff here. Okay, here we go. Going to make a cinch circle. Now with the snowflake, yes, you can start with a very tiny little chained ring, especially when you're working super small. You might find that helpful. Maybe chain 5, join with a slip stitch. You want to have as tiny a circle in the middle, or a space in the middle, as possible. I'm going to go with the cinch circle method because I want to have a nice tight middle. And we're going to do 12 single crochet into that little circle, and I'm going to see if I can hold my work fairly close to the camera without being fuzzy, just because we're working so small today. So I've got a poll question. If you want to do a poll, Mr. InStitches, do you think we can do that, or should we?
Well, I'd like to do a poll, but it tends to interfere with our system here.
Okay, so let's skip the poll. I can just give. I want a quick yes or no from everybody in the chat.
They've fixed it because it never used to.
Well,
we'll try one and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, let's try it. So today's first poll will be: do you send out Christmas cards or greeting cards this time of year? Yes or no? Mr. InStitches is going to get that poll going. I've got 12 single crochet worked into that little cinch circle. I pulled my short tail, cinched it up nice and tight, and I'm going to slip stitch to finish that row in that first single crochet made. So I'm going to slip my hook in there. I think I'll just capture my short tail and slip stitch to join. There we go. So that's 12 single crochet all the way around. And here we go. This is just a 2-row pattern. Now we make the 6 little arms for our snowflake. And we're going to chain 1 and single crochet in the same place that we joined in. So I'm just going to slip my hook right into that same place. Make sure I don't have too much of a gap. Single crochet. Into the next stitch, which is really, really tiny. You can see it right here at my fingertip. We're going to double crochet, and I'm going to work over top of my little short tail just so it's like one more weaving in thing I don't have to do later. So into this next stitch, double crochet. Then we're going to chain 3. We're going to slip stitch into the second and third chain. So always skip that first chain from the hook, and you can see it right there, right at my fingertip. You're going to skip that one and slip stitch. This is kind of nice when you're working small that you can actually use the bridge of your finger. I like to lay the stitches right over the bridge of my finger so that I can brace the stitch against my finger when I plunk my needle through it. Kind of helps keep it in control. I find working with thread, the hardest part is just the first few stitches, because once you have something to hang on to, it's actually not that difficult. And we're going to create 2 more little arms. So these are 3 little arms that kind of poke out of the top of the edge of our snowflake arms. We've got 1, and now we want to create 2 more. So we're going to chain 2, skip the first chain, slip stitch into the second chain, and slip stitch back into the base of that first little finger from the arm of our snowflake. And then once more, chain 2, skip the first chain from the hook, slip stitch into the second. Again, I'm using my finger to kind of brace things. Now I've got quite a nice big open space there. That's the base of that first chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch right into that. That secures finger number 3. So that's the little sort of the 3 fingered top of my snowflake. Once I've completed that, I'm going to double crochet back into the same place that I double crocheted the first time. So right back into the same place. There we go. Double crochet. That feels nice. I like that. And then after that double crochet, we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. So we start, there's single crochets in between each of the 6 arms. So into the next stitch, single crochet. Nice and simple. I'm just going to pull up on that little arm a little bit so you can see it. And then we start all over again. Into the next stitch, we double crochet. There's the double crochet, chain 3. And we slip stitch into the second and third chains. Working nice and tiny here. Nice and slow. Chain 2 to make finger number 2. Slip stitch into the second chain and slip stitch back into the base of the first chain 3. And chain 2 and repeat that. Now, if you find it difficult to see what I'm doing because I'm working small today, like I said, all 3 of the original tutorials we're going to use today are linked down below, and we use regular medium weight yarn, so they're much easier to see. The pattern is absolutely identical. We're not making any changes to the pattern. We're just changing the hook and the yarn size, in this case the thread. Double crochet back into the same place that you double crocheted, and then single crochet into the next stitch and start all over again. So far I've got 2 arms done. And somebody, last time we were doing this...
I'm going to end the poll. It is interfering with our system here.
Okay, get rid of it then. Finish it off. Last time we did this, somebody commented that this looked a little bit like a head and antlers, and I kind of like that idea. I'm wondering if there's some way I can manipulate that to look a little bit more like a reindeer. I think that's a really cute idea. The poll: do you send out Christmas or greeting cards this time of year? Yes, 58%, no, 41%. Well, good on you. For those who do, I know that it's kind of a one way or the other. Some of us do, some of us don't. I think it's kind of fun to get stuff in the mail this time of year. When I was little, I really looked forward to the Christmas cards coming in the mail. And it's fun when they have a little tuck-in. So I don't usually send them in the mail necessarily, but I do like, I would give them out at work, you know, to coworkers and stuff. So I don't know, it's just something nice about a little envelope with something in it. Mysteries abound. All right, arm number 3, I'm going to double crochet into the next stitch and start the little fingers on top of it, double crochet, chain 3, do my little slip stitches, chain 2, slip stitching back down to the base of that chain 3. Always skip the first chain from the hook, because that's what gives you the ability to turn and not have your stitches undo. So that's fingers number 3, double crochet back down into the same stitch. I'm just completing snowflake arm number 3, and I'm halfway done my little snowflake, and single crochet into the next stitch. And I am working over top of that short tail just so I don't have to weave it in later. Ooh, slipped out. There we go. Getting a little too sure of myself there. So there's half a snowflake done. And we are definitely, oh my, we are definitely a lot smaller. This is a size 2 size 2 yarn in cotton, and this is a size 3 crochet thread in cotton. It is much, much smaller already. This little guy is, what did I say, 2.5 inches or 6.5 centimeters across, and I think this guy might be almost half that, so we'll see when we're done. Arm number 4, double crochet into the next stitch, and chain 3. Okay, so we're going to avoid a poll, but I would like to see, by way of yes or no in the chat, because I was just having this little conversation with the family about these tuck-ins, and Carol mentioned that she's already got all of her cards addressed and sealed already. So have you sent out your cards already, or have you not sent them out yet? That's my next question. Yes, you've sent them out. No, you haven't sent them out. Double crochet back into the same place. No from Brenda. No from Tamika. Yes from Joanne. No from Krista. No from Jojo. No from June. No from Jane. Okay, so most of us haven't. Good, then I don't feel bad. Thanks, guys. Yes, Barbara has hers out. All right. Starting arm number 5, double crochet into the next stitch, chain 3. I find with these little repetitive patterns that even though when you're working small and you have to sort of start a little on the slow side, once the thing starts to grow and you've got a little bit more to kind of hang on to, you do speed up a little bit. You get a little more comfortable with the size of the thread or the yarn you're using. You get a little more comfortable with that tiny wee little hook. I'm glad to start with something a little bit bigger today, the thicker crochet thread and the slightly bigger hook, because when I go down to the much smaller hook, I'm going to have to I kind of like to be warmed up for that. double crochet back in the same place. And then we can talk about hangers, little things that maybe you want to hang it with. If you have wire, like beading wire, really fine beading wire, that can actually be a really decent little hanger. But I wouldn't necessarily include that in these if they're going to go through the mail. I think you want to leave metal out of your cards, even if it's fine little wire. But you can use thread, embroidery floss, ribbon. Those things are pretty lightweight and small, and they make pretty little hangers. You could just use more of the crochet thread that you're actually crocheting it with. I've done that before. Just finishing the fingers on the last arm of my snowflake, and then we're going to give this thing a measure. We'll see where we're at. Back into the base, double crochet back into the same place, and the whole thing started with a single crochet, so all I'm going to do to finish this off is to slip stitch into the first single crochet that I made that started the row. So a little 2-row tiny little snowflake. Oh, it's so precious. Oh my gosh. Now if you're going to use this the same thread to hang your little snowflake, I like to have it hang right off the top of one of the little fingers. So rather than have it hanging from the middle, I will snip my yarn and just fasten off, weave in those little tails. Welcome to Silk, Jenny. Thank you for rejoining. Oh, that's so small. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Okay, so that's the wrong side. This is the right side. Before I weave him in, that little tail. So once again, this guy's 2.5 inches or 6.5 centimeters across, and the little brother is, at its largest, looks like 1.75 inches or 5 centimeters almost exactly across. So very tiny. And that will definitely fit neatly in a Christmas card or a little greeting card. It's super thin. If you wanted, you could even put a tiny little sequin or a shiny little bead in the very center if you wanted. That would like give it just a little extra bling. I think Crystal mentioned that she's got some embroidery floss with some sparkle running through it, so that would be fantastic to use in a project like this. Nico gifting another membership. Hi Nico, thank you so much. And it looks like Debbie has won it. Thank you, Nico, and welcome, Debbie. Let's do this. I'm going to weave this little tail in using a large-eyed regular sewing needle. So when you're using if you're using a sewing needle, try to make sure you're not splitting your crochet thread. There we go. And I'm going to weave this through some of the stitches across the other side, the back of my snowflake. So that didn't take very long. Even trying to be nice and careful and to crochet nice and slowly, this little guy didn't take very long. So if you want to make this, and this I would say is the slightly more complicated pattern of the 3 that we're going to look at today. So if you're new to working small, definitely give it a go. This was one of the first small projects that I did many moons ago. And then the more you make, I should say, the easier it gets. And I think I'm going to go through a few more, and then that'll be it. And then we will move on to the next one. We've got the tree and we've got the star to do. And we're going to do the tree first because that's going to look nice in dark green, and then we're going to do the star. I think I'm just about exhausted this little thread here. There we go. Come on, couple more. You can do it. There we go. All right, that is definitely not going to come undone. I'm going to trim what's left there. There we go. Now, you can hang this with pretty ribbon. You can hang it with Fishing line is nice because then of course you won't see it. You can hang it with more of the same thread if you want. So I will worry about adding a little string to it later. If you've got even lighter weight, like I've got even finer crochet thread, I might use even finer crochet thread to hang it with, just so it doesn't look as thick as the thread I used to make the little snowflake. So that's the little size down. I'm just going to put him off to the side, put my needle back in my thing. And let's go on with the next. So, sip of coffee. Oh, that's so nice. All right, Christmas tree. Here we go. This is the Christmas tree. I'm gonna undo my little bag here so you can sort of see it a bit better. So this was the Christmas tree we made as an applique. These all have so many great little options. I mean, even this would make a cute little applique on that bag. Oh, and that would be so cute down in the bottom corner as opposed to up in the middle. Ideas for later. So this little guy was made using a size 4 medium weight yarn. And he is at his widest, maybe 3.5, almost 3.75 inches and 4 inches tall, or 9.5 centimeters, or about 11 centimeters tall. So that's using a regular weight yarn, and I think we were using a 5.5 millimeter hook with that. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It was somewhere, it was a medium sized hook anyway. It wasn't anything too big. So now I'm going to make the exact same pattern using a size 10 crochet thread in this lovely rich green color, and I'm going to go down to my even smaller hook. So wish me luck. Here we go. Gotta find the end. Here we go. Give myself a little bit of slack to get going. All right. So if your little crochet hooks come with a cap and you take your cap off, put your cap somewhere where you're not going to lose it. So somewhere nearby. And here we go. So we can start with a cinch circle or with a chained ring with our little Christmas tree. I'm going to start with a chained ring. So I'm going to start with a slip knot. I'm going to chain 4. And I'm going to join to make a ring with the first chain. Ooh, nice and small. So like I said, when you start with crochet thread, the hardest part is the very beginning because it's just so tiny. It's hard to kind of manipulate your thread and the little tiny thing that you're holding on to. So there is my little ring. I'm going to work over top of my short tail because I think that'll give, not only will it weave it in for me as I go, but it will also give the middle a little more strength. And this is based on your regular granny shell stitch pattern. So I'm going to chain 3 to begin. Get my little tail out of the way. Chaining 3, that chain 3 counts as double crochet and into the little circle, and I'm going to, the first few stitches are critical. This helps open up the center of your circle. Make sure you're getting right through into the chained ring. Double crochet twice, and that will help open up the circle. And I'll show you what that looks like here. So there, now you can really see there's the center of the little circle, itty bitty bitty little middle there, and my new stitches coming out of it. Again, when you get started small, it is so difficult to hang on to, but the more stitches you add, excuse me, the easier it gets. We need to start with a corner, so we're going to chain 2. And then because this is a base of 3, since it's based on a triangle, we need to do 2 more shells, or 3 double crochet, chain 2, twice more into that little ring. So the first row will be the most complicated because it's small and you're getting used to the smaller hook and the smaller thread and just having something to hang on to. But the next couple of rows will make it easier. Someone was asking me, I think it might have been Christina, was asking me about a recommendation for steel hooks. So I have a set of the Clover Amour for the steel hook size. They are ergonomic, just like my regular crochet hook, the ones I usually use, the Amour set. And that's what this is. This is a Clover Amour, and it's sort of flat on both. It's like a bit rounded at the bottom, and then the thumb deck is nice and flat and smooth. And I find this, because I have the knife grip, very, very comfortable. As a lot of you know, I have arthritis, so hanging on to this isn't difficult. And the arm of it is just a little bit shorter than the regular crochet hook arms, but not so small that it's not sort of uncomfortable to hold. And it does roll nicely in my hand. So I've got Clover Amours. We got ours from Amazon. I know we have links, affiliate links, but I have no idea where they are at the moment. I don't know if Mr. InStitches can find them. But I do recommend them. I'm not sponsored or anything by Clover. That would be nice, but I'm not. But these are the ones that I use, and I find them very, very comfortable. They don't get sticky in your hand, and it makes manipulating that itty bitty little steel hook much easier. All right, so that's row 1. 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 2, and then we want to join to the top of that chain 3 that began the row. Join with a slip stitch. I'll leave that little tail out and I'll figure that out later. And that is the beginning of our little Christmas tree. How tiny is that? So I'm going to weave in that little short tail later. You can see my 3 chain 2 corners. They're nice and easy to see. The shells, the 3 little shells, it looks like a little, almost like a little steering wheel. It's so itty bitty. I love it. Got to pause for a sip of coffee. Excuse me. It's the eggnog.
Went a little heavy on the eggnog there.
Oh, so good. All right. All right. In order to start my successive rows, when I'm doing granny shell motifs, I like to slip stitch across to the next corner space and start the row in a corner. So I'm going to just slip stitch into the top of each of those 2 double crochet stitches from the previous row's shell. So just slip stitching across and into that corner space. Now you can also, if that's too small, you can just slip stitch backwards into the little chain 2 space that's right next to where you joined. You can do that too, but I like to just kind of always go in the same direction. That's just a personal taste. So if you find it easier to slip stitch backwards into that existing chain 2 space that's right next door to where you join, you can do that too. It's not going to change anything. And we start row number 2. We're going to chain 3. The chain 3 counts as a double crochet. And row 2 is all about making corners. So it's shell, chain 2, shell, chain 1 in every single chain 2 space. So chain 3 counts as double crochet. To finish that first shell, I'm going to work 2 more double crochet into that nice big easy to see chain 2 space. So there's shell number 1, chain 2 for the new corner, and into that same space. Now I've got something fairly decent to hang on to. So like I said, row 2 is always easier, and then row 3 is even easier, and so on and so on. I was terrified of doing thread crochet for so many years. I just didn't even bother, even back when I had better dexterity and really good eyesight. Now, but I always told myself, oh, I'll do it when I'm older. Well, I'm older, darn it, and I'm going to do it now. So here we are. Once you've got 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet worked into a chain 2 space, chain 1, that's just a little space, gives you a bit of breathing room when you're working in a small little triangular shape like this. And then we repeat, shell, chain 2, shell, chain 1 in the next chain 2 space. So 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 1. Having that first row to hold on to makes it a lot easier. I can sort of pull away from my work and really look at it. There's shell, chain 2 shell. I'm going to chain 1, and I've got 1 more left to go. That's into that first chain 2 space from the previous row. I'm going to get my little short tail out of the way. 3 double crochet. Chain 2. And 3 more double crochet all into the same space. Chain 1, and that brings me back to the beginning. I'm going to find the chain 3 that began the row. That little short tail really wants to get involved. And I'm going to join with a slip stitch. I'm going to just pause, pull out those 3 corners, maybe lay it down if I have to. Oh, it's so itty bitty and small. It's so cute. So that's row 2 of my little granny tree completed. Row 3, and we continue with this triangle pattern. And just like a granny square, you treat your chain 2 corners like a regular corner. Shell, chain 2 shell, chain 1. And now we've got chain 1 spaces all along the sides. We do 3 double crochet, chain 1 into each of these side spaces. So I'm going to slip stitch across those 2 double crochets just to set myself up into the chain 2 corner, just to get started for row 3. Got a little bit of fluff here. There we go. All right, here we go. Chain 3 to begin. Row 3 counts as a double crochet. 2 more double crochet into that same space. That's the first shell complete. Chaining 2 and 3 more double crochet into the same space. And before you leave, chain 1. So 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 1, all into that top space. Everything just looks so neat and tidy when it's small. Into the side spaces, which are chain 1 spaces, you're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 1. Easy peasy. And like I said, the original tutorial for this little granny tree is linked down below. So if you need to see it done with larger hooks and larger yarn, it's the exact same pattern. And that tutorial will help you out there. 3 double crochet, chain 1, and that brings me back to a corner space. And it's the same. Shell, chain 2, shell, chain 1. I have a question for the chat. I understand these little tuck-in gifts, these little card tuck-in gifts, to be called tuck-ins. That's sort of what I understood them to be. But I'm sure you've all seen and possibly even been the recipient of one of those flying butterflies that when you open up the card, the butterfly sort of spun up on a rubber band, spins off and kind of into your face, and it can be amusing. It can also be sort of startling. Do you know what those are called? Do they have a special name?
Have you mentioned that the 2024 calendar is ready?
I think I mentioned it right at the beginning. It's up top in the shop next to our 2 sneaky sale patterns of the day, which are our granny tree and our granny star. Yes, our 2024 calendar. So if you're the type that likes to keep track of the days, like me, our 2024 calendar is ready. We've done a calendar the last a few years now. It's 24 pages, so each month of the year is a 2-page spread, and there's all sorts of fun things in it. There's crochet patterns. This year we've added a fun little craft. There's a graph this year too. That's new. We've got a whole bunch of fun new things included in it. And we finally got that prepared and available in the shop this past weekend. So very excited about that. A lot of you were asking, I know. So sorry for the delay. It's been kind of a nutty end to 2023. Just pulling out my corners here just to make sure. All right, so the last thing I did was a 3 double crochet into the chain 1 space. I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that first chain 3 I made. It is perfectly fine to sort of put your work down every so often and pull out those corners just so you can sort of see them a little easier. It also kind of helps to even out your stitches. Get that shape showing. So now I've got a definite triangle shape. Oh, that is so cute. Okay, row 4. We are going to do a row of single crochet all the way around. So this is itty bitty at this point. We're going to just stay right where we are, chain 1 and single crochet in the same place, which is the top of the chain 3 that we joined the previous row in. So the first single crochet is a bit tricky. Then you're going to single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches.
Did we shout out Jenny for rejoining our membership? I can't recall. I'm seeing Jenny here, and I'm seeing a gift from Nico.
I'm gonna pause. I might not bother doing the single crochet all the way around. I feel like that might be unnecessary. All right, I'm pausing. Okay, sorry, what was that, my sweet?
I'm seeing a membership renewal or rejoin from Jenny. I just want to make sure we
I think I got Jenny.
Thank you, because I can't recall if we got her.
I think I said thank you to Jenny.
Yeah?
Jenny,
Okay.
I said thank you, didn't I? Yes, I got Jenny.
You got Jenny?
Yep. Renewing at silk level. Thank you so much. I just noticed, here I am looking at the chat, Dina says she's an avid reader and that these would make amazing bookmarks, and I heartily agree. A little tiny sort of like tail or a ribbon on that would be so cute. Yes, definitely. Bookmarks. Great idea. I'm not going to do a row of single crochet all the way around. I've changed my mind. So I'm just going to chain 1 and turn, and I'm going to put the little tiny, stump on the tree now. So I'm going to single crochet in the same place that I joined in, which is the top of that chain 3. Actually, it's going to be that little space right there. So I'm going to single crochet right into that little space, and then I'm going to single crochet into each of those 3 stitches across the bottom. I like that. Do I want that single crochet? No. Sometimes things look a little different. Chain 1, turn. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to slip stitch into that space. I want to just single crochet in each of those 3 double crochets here. So all I want to do is just build a little stump off the bottom shell of this tree. Thank you so much, Marty. Marty's just picked up a thing in our Etsy shop. Appreciate it very much. A pattern, a file, got all sorts of goodies in there. All right, chain 1, turn, and then I'm going to single crochet in each of those tiny little stitches all the way back. Now, if you wanted a slightly longer trunk, you could use a taller stitch, like a half double crochet. But you want it to be a little on the, oh gosh, this is so darling. Holy cow, that's small. There we go. Single crochet in each stitch across that bottom middle shell, and then chain 1, turn, and single crochet across each of those 3 stitches again, just to create the tiniest little stump. I like it. Okay, I'm going to fasten off. Just thinking as I work here. I like that. Okay, let's get that little tiny needle and weave in our tails. I need a nice small, there we are, that one will do. So I've got this little tail from the first row. I want to continue weaving that in, so I'm just going to finish weaving that one in across the back. And I don't think it's going to want to come out, so go. Come on. Good.
I have a question for everyone in the chat. Is it better when we're zoomed in on the small crochet or zoomed out?
Trim the excess.
Or going back and forth?
A good question from the mister. Gonna pull out those corners. You could also add a little spray starch to your crochet thread ornaments here, and that will help keep them nice and stiff and also flatten them a little bit. So a little spray starch, and then sort of pull them into place and let them dry flat. You can also block them very gently by adding a little bit of steam to them, but don't touch your iron to your crochet work because it will flatten it. It may even damage it. If you're going to flatten it because you absolutely need the weight, make sure you put a fairly decent sized tea towel down between the iron and your crochet because you don't want to harm your crochet. And if you're unsure how it's going to look, then make a little tiny sampler with whatever yarn or thread you're using and experiment with your iron that way before you press the really good things, because you don't want to accidentally run the risk of hurting anything that you spent a lot of time on. So I'm just weaving my little short tail in back and forth across the back. I'm going to trim the excess. Careful not to snip my actual thread. Needle back in needle book. There we go. Oh my gosh, that is so darling. Okay. How big is this Christmas tree? 4 centimeters.
That is the cutest Christmas tree I've ever seen.
4 centimeters by 5 centimeters, or
Jayda, you promised you'd dial down the cuteness this episode.
1.5 inches by 1.75 inches. So very, very tiny. That will easily fit in a card. Look at this. Oh my gosh. The snowflake's actually bigger than the Christmas tree.
You
but
have
that's because
a little prop card to show everyone?
What?
A prop card.
A prop card? Oh, I don't have a card. Sorry.
You came unprepared?
I didn't come unprepared. They're tucked into my they're in my scrapbooking.
Pink slip coming up.
They're in my scrapbook box, slip. Which is absolutely massive and heavy, and I can't get it out of where it is.
Everyone just pretend that those are going into a card. You can use your hands.
Just to reiterate, this is a size 3 crochet thread, and I used the B hook, or the 2.25 millimeter. This is a size 10 crochet thread, so way thinner than this one, and I use the 1.75 millimeter. And look at, they're practically the same height. This is 3 rows of crochet, and this could technically be considered 3 rows because there is double the height on row number 2. But unbelievable how big this one is compared to this one.
Big thank you to Nico for another gifted membership.
Nico! Thank you, Nico. Goodness gracious. Nico has sent a membership. Thank you, Nico. And Dina has won it. Hey, fantastic. Congratulations, Dina. Welcome to the family. All right. These are cute. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is the star. So I will move these dies down a little bit, and let's talk about, this is the Granny Star. This is medium size 4. This is a cotton yarn using a 5.5 millimeter hook, and regularly it is 4.5 inches across its widest spot, or 11 centimeters. So that's a size 4 medium weight cotton, doesn't really matter what fiber you use, yarn with a 5.5 millimeter hook. So that's the regular size, and our tutorial, which is linked down below, will make this one exactly this size. And in that tutorial we actually used acrylic, and I made a whole bunch because I was making a bunting because any of these three motifs look adorable all strung together in a bunting too. So snowflakes, Christmas trees, stars are all three together. Why not? So I'm going to make this exact pattern, but I'm going to use my pretty little crochet thread. This is my, I don't have any just yellow, and I didn't have anything, I didn't want to make it white again. So I've got this really pretty, I love this because it reminds me of the 1970s, which is probably from this, this colorway is likely originated in the 50s, I'm thinking, but it's maybe even before that. She says, looking at her needle book, knowing that it's from like the late 1800s. Okay, you know what? This is just very popular and has been for 100 years. But this is a newer ball, I should say, of crochet thread. And it's the same weight as the stuff I used for the tree. So it's like a 10. So I'm going to use the same hook. And I'm going to make this pattern, and we're going to see how it sizes down. So I'm going to leave that there.
Susan's super chat banner matches the yarn you're using.
Oh my gosh, Susan, thank you so much.
Thank you to Susan.
Thank you, Susan. Holy cow. Look at that cute little thing. All right. Susan with a very festive and sweet super chat. Thank you so much, Susan. Ribbon or yarn to make a bookmark, says Lori. Well, to make the actual bookmark, the thing that goes in between the pages, if it's a novel, like a small kind of thinner book, then crochet thread or embroidery floss would be fine, or a fingering weight sock yarn is fine. If it's a big kind of heavy kids book or like a coffee table book, then a slightly thicker yarn is okay. For the actual thing to hang out the top, anything you like, tassel, ribbon, yarn, keeping in mind that you don't want to, like, if you're going to make a bookmark and it's going to be in the book for a while, you don't want it to change the shape of the pages. So you don't want to distort the book. So a thinner thread or a sock weight yarn is the best thing to make your bookmarks out of, in my opinion. Okay, so let's go with the star. The granny star pattern is also only 3 rows. It is super short. You don't need very much thread or yarn for this too. We can start with a chain 5 ring. So I'm going to start with a slip knot. I'm going to chain 5. I'm continuing to use my super small hook here.
Jayda, do we have a tutorial on the join as you go method for the solid granny square?
For the solid granny square?
Do you recall?
Yes, we do. Oh, the solid granny square.
Yeah, the solid.
Like solid double crochet all the way across.
Granny.
No, we do not have a join as you go for the solid granny square.
What about the calendar temperature blanket? Is that solid grannies? No, it's not.
those are little 2-row regular grannies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's where we have the join as you go. You can join as you go solid grannies too. You have to decide if you want to join them at every single stitch, or every 3rd stitch, or every 4th stitch, kind of however you want to do it. Like, do you want small spaces in between your squares or no spaces in between your squares? Because you can vary it depending on the kind of look you want. I've chained 5. I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the first little chain to make a small ring. This is always the hardest part because you've got this tiny little itty bitty thing to hold on to.
Membership milestone from Dawn.
Hi, Dawn. Dawn has been a member for 60 months. My goodness, thank you, Dawn. Dawn says, my favorite are the snowflakes. Looking out my window at all the snow I have in Republic, Washington. Fantastic. Yeah, we are looking out the window at snow too. It is softly falling out there. It makes everything very quiet and very pretty. I like it. And bright. I don't have any lights in this room on. All that light that you see is coming in from outside. That's snow light. Boy, that's romantic sounding. Snow light. Gee, I like that. Okay, so we're chain 5, join with a slip stitch to the first chain to make a ring. You can see that on my little finger there. There's a little space in the middle, like this little donut. That's what I'm going to be working into. This begins like regular granny shell motifs do, but we need to make 5 shells because we are using a base of 5. So here we go. I'm going to work over top of that little short tail. Chain 3 to begin. Chain 3 counts as double crochet. I'm going to double crochet twice into the center of that circle. Oh my goodness. Deanna, thank you. Deanna's picked up a couple things at our shop. Thank you so much. So there we go. That is the first shell of row 1. So chain 3 and 2 double crochets equals 1 little shell. Nice and small on my finger there. And now I'm going to chain 2 to create a space. And I'm going to do this 4 more times. So 3 double crochet, chain 2, 4 more times so that I finally have 5 shells and 5 chain 2 spaces. So 3 double crochet. With every double crochet I add, that circle center gets a little bit bigger and easier to see. And I have a little bit more to hang on to. Chain 2. That pretty variegating color is going to start here in my little star. Hi, Crocus.
Membership milestone.
Crocus has been a member for 10 months. Thank you, Crocus. Hello there. Crocus has sent a big heart. I like it.
I think it was Crocus who mentioned you could also glue these or stick these to the front of your card if you're making your own homemade cards.
Excellent
that would look awesome.
idea. Yes, these all make great little mini stickers if you are into scrapbooking. Or you know somebody who is into scrapbooking. May I heartily suggest making that scrapbooker that you know a whole collection of snowflakes and trees and stars and other cute, simple little flat shape, smaller stars, little hearts that they can then embellish their scrapbooks or their cards with. They love these. I love these. I love to card make and scrapbook. And I like to add these too. So yes, thank you for the reminder. That is an absolutely brilliant idea. And it's a good gift idea too. And a very unique gift idea if you know somebody's into that kind of thing. So I've got 4 shells so far. I've chained 2. I'm going to work my last 3 double crochet. So I get 5 shells. We're going for a pentagon shape here. 5-sided. Chain 2 for the last corner. And join with a slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 that began the row. So just like a granny square, except instead of 4 shells with chain 2 spaces, you're making 5 shells with chain 2 spaces. And there it is. A very neat and tidy little pentagon. I really like the way that looks. Now I like to do the same thing. I like to slip stitch across each of the next 2 double crochet and into the next chain 2 space to begin row 2. So I'm going to do that. If that's a bit tricky, you can always just sort of slip stitch backwards into the adjacent chain 2 space. Nothing wrong with that. There we go. So I've slip stitched into the chain 2 space. And we're basically just creating corners for row 2. So we chain 3, that counts as a double crochet. 2 more double crochet into that chain 2 space. That completes shell number 1. Then we want to chain 2 and into the same place, 3 more double crochet. And chain 1. So shell, chain 2, shell, chain 1, or 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 1, and we're going to do that exact same thing into each of those chain 2 spaces. So shell, chain 2, shell, chain 1 into every space all the way around. That will just give us a bigger pentagon shape, and it is the basis for our star.
I guess the window's giving you enough light today, eh?
Yes.
Deanna says, I need a magnifying glass and a light. It is tricky to work with such small thread.
It is. You know what I find I do, guys? I don't actually, this is going to sound funny, I kind of stare through it. Like I don't try to see exactly what I'm doing. I kind of just let my eyes relax a little bit because I know I can see the spaces. So I know how a double crochet stitch feels. So I just let my fingers do what it's supposed to, nice and easy. And I kind of aim for that little space that I'm working into, nice and easy. I'm not trying to really see the stitches because I don't have to. This is, you know, when you're working double crochet stitches into a space, you don't really have to look for the individual stitches much. So when I don't need to look for the super tiny detailed little stitch because I'm not working into a stitch, I'm working into a space, I just relax my eyeballs and I don't really stare at it. I kind of just stare through it. And I find that saves my eyes from getting strained. Hi, Kathy. Kathy's been a member for 2 months. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy says, love watching you both. Today I'm going to work on crochet picture frame ornaments and crochet popcorn cranberry garland. Whee! I love it. Ooh, picture frame ornaments. That's another great use for these. You could sort of glue a couple to a picture frame. Oh, I love that idea. And the crochet popcorn garland, I haven't forgotten about that. I was lying in bed the other night thinking about how I would make little popcorns. I really like that idea. It's cute. Chaining 2.
That's it. We need a crochet popcorn.
I think we need to make some crochet popcorn.
I think we should make some crochet popcorn. 3D.
All right. So that is 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 1, and now I have to do it once more into that last chain 2 corner. You can really see that my little pentagon shape is getting bigger. Row 2 is a little easier to work because I've got more to hang on to from row 1 and from the beginning of row 2. So there's shell, chain 2, shell. I've just chained 1 and now I'm going to slip stitch to join to the top of that chain 3, and that is row 2 complete. I will pull out each of those little corners. That's the top right there. So I've got a little pentagon, nice, neat, tidy pentagon going. Row 3, the final row of this little pattern, is when we turn our pentagon into a star. So we're going to focus on creating corners in the corner. So you've got 5 corner spaces. You're going to continue to do shell, chain 2, shell, chain 1 in the corner space. But instead of doing a shell in the middle space, you are going to go nice and small and make a little single crochet down here. So
shout out to all our lurkers today. We love our lurkers.
Big shout out to our lurkers.
If you're a lurker, say you're a lurker in the chat.
Or at least give us a thumbs up.
Let us know you're a lurker. Or put some sort of code.
Lots of people
use lurker code in the
busy
chat.
Working away and have us sort of on in their ears. I love that. So I've slip stitched across to my chain 2 so I can start in that corner space for row 3. I'm going to start with a chain 3 that begins as my acting first double crochet, and then I'm going to do the same corner treatment, 2 more double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet.
Hey, we have non-lurkers saying they're lurking. It sounds like everybody's lurking. Hello, lurkers and non-lurkers.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is I'm really loving these little Monday crochet alongs. I'm just loving being able to make up a bunch of stuff. It's like I'm gonna get things done before the holidays this year because we're making time to do these live crochet alongs. All right, that's the first corner. 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. I'm going to chain 1 before I leave. And now into the side chain 1 space. So on the flat sides of your little pentagon, if you're looking for those chain 1 spaces, all you're going to do is single crochet. And if you want to make it even more sort of tiny, you can slip stitch there if you want, but I like the little single crochet. Then you chain 1 and you do another corner in the chain 2 space. 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 1. 3 double crochet, chain 2. Here comes my second set of 3 double crochet. Chain 1, and into that little side space, single crochet. Chain 1, and you can do the same thing again. I'm going to pull it on my little corners. So now you can see it's really turning into a star.
So Kim has a 17-year-old grandson, and she needs some ideas for a stocking stuffer.
Stocking stuffer.
Crocheted stocking stuffer.
Well, you were a 17-year-old boy once.
Does anyone out there have any good ideas? Yeah, that was a long time ago. I'm thinking. Crocheted. 17-year-old. Maybe a hacky sack?
A hacky sack. I know it's not quite the thing to fit into a...
Definitely a hat.
Yeah,
like a warm hat.
You can go two ways with a hat with a 17-year-old boy, and it depends on the boy. So if he's like low-key, cool, kind of an emo kid, you know, like he's just like, I'm just the cool guy in the corner, then a tight-fitting, small, black beanie, A1. If he's a bit wild and he likes to hit the slopes and snowboard or ski, the wilder, the crazier the snow cap, the better.
Think of ugly Christmas sweater, but hat.
But
form.
in a hat, like absolute manic snowboard hat. Yeah, those are really, really popular too.
Pocket frisbee, yep, that's probably a good one.
Frisbee's a great idea. Yeah, hacky sack, a frisbee. If he's into video games, anything video game.
A card. What are they called? The money cards. I forget what they're called.
Gift card.
Like the gift card that you can load your console, your gaming store with.
Yeah. So a gift card in a little crocheted gift bag. There you go.
There you go, Kim. See, look at all the ideas flying.
If he likes his hot coffees and teas, maybe a sleeve for his to-go mug or his favorite coffee mug in the morning. If he's into tea or coffee or even hot cocoa.
Plenty of lurkers today. We also have loud lurkers. That's the new term.
Loud lurkers.
Loud
yes.
lurkers, someone who lurks but also heavily chats.
Loud lurker. Okay. So after your last single crochet in the last side space, don't forget that last chain 1. You're looking for the chain 3 that began the row. You're going to slip stitch to the top of it to join. And that is the little granny star. Oh my gosh, that might be the cutest one yet. I can't decide. Star, snowflake. What a cute little trio. All right, before I get into that, let me fasten off here. I'm going to weave in my little tail.
We're going to have to do a vote. I'm going to have to sacrifice the computer here. We're going to have to do a poll on which one's the cutest.
We might have to do that.
I'm not sure.
Let me get this finished. I'm going to measure it, and then we're gonna find out.
All right. So these are all patterns we already have tutorials for. Jayda's just using a smaller hook and yarn. Correct?
Yes. All three
I think our
they're all linked below.
They're free on the website too, except the star.
The star and the tree are both in our shop, and the snowflake is a free pattern on our website.
Okay.
So if you're new here and you've never been to our pattern workshop page on our website, I've got that linked below. And I've also got the 3 original tutorials linked below. Mr. InStitches and I were busy little beavers setting up the stream today. I'm just weaving in this tail. Trying not to split my thread with my little needle here. That feels pretty good. And I'll go back and forth a couple times until I'm pretty sure it won't want to come undone on me. That'll probably be enough, this last one. All right, so trim excess. Be careful not to actually snip crochet. And let's pull out those little points. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's cute. Okay. Ha 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 ha. Okay, quick measurement here. Oh, put needle away. Cap sharp crochet hook. Okay, so original. Guess I could probably have this just to the side. That's the original tree. That's a gigantic difference. Look at that. Original tree and then tree made with crochet thread. Holy smokes. So that's that. That's this pairing. And then there's this heart, or I should say this star. And then my new little star. So I'm going to put these guys here. All right. New star is 2 inches at its widest, or 5 centimeters, and that is down from 4.5 inches or 11 centimeters. So that is quite the reduction in size. I can like sit that one in the middle of that too. So that was the smallest we did a few weeks ago. That was made with a size 2 yarn and a smaller hook. This is made with a size 3 crochet thread and a 2.25 millimeter hook. And these guys are both made with a size 10 crochet thread, so much smaller, and a 1.75 millimeter steel hook, very small. And that's how those patterns size down. So I'm going to get these guys out of the way. Here is the little trio. Oh my gosh, these are so cute. So now all you want to do is hang them with a little bit of thread or ribbon, something small, just so that they've got something to hang on, but the thread you use doesn't overpower them. So I've got a thin size, I think I might even have an 80 weight thread. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to get my thread box down. Yes. I've got thin thread. So there's that. I've got this. That's really thin. Where's that crazy thin stuff? That is very thin. What is that? Is that 80? That's 30. Oh, the 30 might work. Kind of an ecru color. So that's a 30. That is, pretty sure that's a 10. And is this an 80? What size is that? Does it even say? Doesn't say. Ah, here it is. All right. This, I think that's 30. Yeah, it's 30. All right. Maybe I'll keep that too. I've got some 30 weight yarn in ecru. My gosh, that's small. It's practically sewing thread. It's so thin. And I've got a 10 in white. So I'm gonna hang my little snowflake with my slightly thinner weight white yarn, just so I don't detract from the white color. And I'm just going to cut a length like 20 to 25 centimeters or 10 to 12 inches. And I'm just tying the two ends together in an itty bitty little knot. Make that nice and tight. Then I take the folded part and I sling it through the top loop of my snowflake, and then pass the knot through the loop, and you are ready to hang. So that's little snowflake ornament number 1. Now let's cut a couple lengths of the ecru. And this stuff is super fine. There we go. Same thing. I'm going to take my two ends and knot them together. Make sure that's in there nice and tight. And I'm going to use my smaller hook for this. I'm going to go right through that top space. So I guess I don't really need to use the super small hook.
These would make adorable Christmas tree decorations too.
Absolutely. Well, that's kind of the idea, you know.
You can make a whole bunch of them.
You're enclosing them in a gift card.
You might go cross-eyed, but
you're enclosing them in a gift card because they fit, and you can hang them on the tree, or you can, you know, hang them anywhere you want, really. I like the idea of using them as a bookmark. That's really, really cute.
You'd have to give them a bit of a tail or something.
Yeah, a little bit of a...
Like a
tassel?
braided tail.
So that's that one. There we go. So there is today's little trio of tuck-ins, tuck-in gifts. I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've got from the original Snowflake, Granny Star, and Granny Tree tutorials. Again, all linked below. So if you need a refresher or you just want to see it done with bigger hook and yarn, we've got you covered. All three of them are linked below. Free pattern on the website. These two are our sneaky sale today in the Etsy shop if you'd like to pick them up. This is a great way to shrink down those appliques. These can all be used as appliques if you use them in larger yarn or even crochet thread. I think I'm just looking at this thinking that a whole bunch of these little granny thread stars sewn onto my denim jacket would look so cute. And of course it's mercerized cotton that I've used. All three of these crochet threads are mercerized cotton, so they're durable. They're not going to fluff on you. It's cotton, so if you are attaching them to something like a denim jacket or whatever, it'll wash with the jacket just fine. They're all very thin, especially these two guys, so they'll fit into a card very nicely and will not bend or break the card. Then when you open up the card, this sweet little ornament kind of comes tumbling out. I just love it. And you know, I have to say, I really like how the variegated thread colors work in this star. It gives the star a little more depth. I'm thinking if I had a variegated green thread, it would look really nice as the tree because it would give the tree a little bit more depth too. You're really just letting that shape do the talking.
Now, how cute would it be if someone receives a card from you for whatever reason and that little thing pops out? I
think so. I really think so. I think it's so cute. I also like the idea of them being used as a bookmark. They're just a sweet little pick-me-up. I love them. But yeah, there we go. A little trio of ornaments.
Well, everyone in the chat is saying so cute. And also we had an earlier gifted membership from Nico, so a big thank you to Nico.
Thank you, Nico. Thank you so much. Oh, I see it here. And Kathy H won it. Hey, congratulations, Kathy. Welcome back. Marvelous. Oh, thank you so much, Nico. Thank you, guys. Holy cow. Okay, so that is today's little tuck-in crochet along. I love these. These are so much fun. Oh my gosh. Ronald and Kathy Jones are in the house. Hey, cousins. Sneaking in right at the end. They say, you are such a talented cuz. Thank you. Keep warm and stay forever your sweet selves. We love you. A couple of your biggest fans. You make our week special. Love to Mr. InStitches and Mama, your friends Ron and Kathy. Thank you guys so much.
Big thank you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay, so surprise, we're gonna be back tomorrow live streaming. So stay tuned for more fun. We are going to we're gonna try and do as much as we can this week because it is, you know, we're into December. It's the busy time of year. So if you can make a little bit of time to sit with us, you can use that time. A, it's good company. B, you can make whatever we're making if you want, or just use it as inspiration, or it'll give you an hour or so to get a little bit of work done. So we've always got long lists of things we want to crochet. So we're gonna live stream again tomorrow, same time, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Somebody was asking earlier about the Fair Isle style calendar blanket border. Yes, the tutorial is coming. We are aiming to have it for this Friday. So this Friday for the blanket. And if that's a little too late, we've got links in the Friday last tutorial. So the December Fair Isle blanket edition. We've got links to previous border tutorials, which will all work on that blanket and look very nice. So if you're in a hurry to get it finished, you can use any of those. Otherwise, this Friday we will have, barring any crazy mishaps, we will have the Fair Isle border for you. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on a Monday. If you have any questions about today's little projects, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section. But like I said, we've got links to all the original tutorials in the description box. So if you need a recap, they're right there for you. And we will see you tomorrow. So stay safe and crafty and cozy. And Mr. InStitches, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No.
No.
I think you covered it all.
Right.
Big thank you to everyone for joining us and supporting our show. We really appreciate it. Click the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And we'll see you tomorrow.
11 o'clock a.m. tomorrow.
Jayda has got her Crojo back.
Yeah, Crojo is in the house.
Full Crojo this week.